Hi, I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies, and today we're going to look at the 2021 Elite Encore. Now, Elite for 2021 have produced 4 new bows, and all dealers were offered to buy them as a package. So you didn't know what you were getting. You were told they were 4 bows, and you were told this was the price. So it's a bit of a lucky dip with what you were going to get. Now, Matthews have done this in the past, and I'm never a big fan because you get 4 bows exactly the same. Now, this bow, the Encore, came to my shop, so I got 4 kits. So I got 4 of these exactly the same. Now, I've sold 3. Now, of the other 12 bows, because there's 3 other models and there's 4 of each of them, I've sold none, but this one I've sold 3. Now, this one came in the army green color. It's available from Elite in a whole bunch of colors for 2021, and to me, as soon as I saw it, I thought Elite Cure, which was new for Elite for 2020, and I was a huge fan of the Elite Cure, and I'm going to tell you what I do and don't like about it. So the major thing I like about the Elite Cure is Elite went away from its module based system. With the Elite modules, you bolt the module to the bow, and to change the module you got to take the strings and cables off, you got to take the string stops off, and if you forget to put those string stops back on, you get a bow with 100% let off. Now with the Elite Encore, the Cure, the Result, they've got a rotating module, which is just here. It just rotates. You see there's no part of the string touching the module at all, so you don't need a bow press to do that. Now, what's also good about this is it comes with a cable stop and a limb stop, so you can change the feel of this bow from either being solid, you can change the let off, you can change the whole way this bow feels. Huge fan. I'm going to show you how you do that. So this is the cable stop here. So if you want to move it forward, you reduce the let off. Moving it back increases the let off. So you can see right now it's set on maximum let off. Moving this forward will decrease the let off. Now, these little screw holes here on this module is where you fit your limb stop. The limb stop will come and hit this thing here where you pull it back, so that gives you your solid wall. Now you can shoot this bow without the limb stop, and that's what I intend to do. Now, what was big for Elite with 2020 was this Tunability product, which they've got. Whatever. So with tunability of a bow, what people are generally looking for is to shoot a bullet hole out of the bow. Now, whether it matters or not is another question, but a lot of archers want a bullet hole, shoot through paper and shoot a bullet hole, so shoot it just with no tear through the paper. Now, with some bows, what you do is you move the cams left and right to do this. Now, with Elite, what they introduced was this thing here, and you turn this left or right to change the tear in the bow. Now it's got a locking feature, which I'm guessing that's the locking feature there for it, and then you just turn it left or right, and it tells you which way to turn it, top and bottom. Now, I think it's very clever. I don't know if I like it or not, because you've got more things to go loose, you've got more things for people to play with. What happens if you adjust it more at the top than the bottom? All that sort of stuff. And you can adjust it more top and bottom, and it really doesn't matter much as long as you get it shooting a bullet. And I'm going to say, well, that probably doesn't even matter much, because back in time we didn't used to shoot bullets. There was bows where you couldn't actually tune and people shot perfect scores with them, so I don't know how much it matters. Now, the first thing I noticed with this bow was the axle size. Now, it could be the Cure featured this big axle as well. I don't know. I just saw it and I went, wow, that's a big axle, and it reminded me of the PSE big axles they're using now. You'll see the bearings in the cams are really big. It's a big beefy bushing, roller bushing to make it nice and smooth. The Encore, the Cure use a roller cable slide. The Result, which is the Elite target bow, use a cable slide, and a lot of customers ask me, why don't Elite use the roller slide on their target bow? I don't know. To me, this would be logical to use on all their bows. I'm not sure why they don't do it. Here you can move this left or right. That changes the tune a little bit and moves the cables forward or back, giving you more or less sight picture. two arrow rest holes here in the riser. Machine limb pockets, which look nice. Comes with dampeners. Now, Elite use the Winner's Choice strings, which they obviously own. They're a nice quality string. The limbs are a standard Gordon glass limb. Now, the thing that I don't like is when I do tests with bows, I test them all at 60 pounds. This came as a 70-pound bow. Now, you've got limb locking things here on both sides to lock the limbs, there and there. And you'll see the limb bolt goes into this little thing here. Now, I can't see how much thread I've got left on this, but I can tell you at 3.5 turns, you cannot wind this thing down any further. So you've got a maximum of 3.5 turns on this bow. And also the cure has not got much poundage adjustment. So when I wound this bow down as far as I could, this bow went down to 63 pounds. It would not drop to 60 pounds. So bear that in mind. If you're looking for a bow with adjustability, the Elite does not have it. It's aimed at the top end market. So you want a 70-pound bow, you'll shoot this bow flat out. Now, I think that limits it a bit for shooters, because you might go, well, look, I want to shoot 60 every day, but I want to wind up to 70, or I might want to shoot 55, but I want a 70-pound bow so I can go hunting. And I think that limits it a bit. And all you need is a bigger limb bolt here and to change this here. And I think it'd be nice, like with the Bowtex, where you can see the limb bolt, so you can see how much space you've got. Now, you can say the bow probably doesn't shoot as well at 55 as it does 70, and that's your choice. But I would like a bow with more adjustability and poundage. You've got two sight positions here for the sight. You've got the one I fitted to there and this one up here. Now, the overall finish on Elites is exceptional, I think. The paintwork looks deep. If you're using the camo, it's a wrap finish. It looks great. It looks as good, if not better than anything on the market. Price point on this bow, I'm going to say it's probably around $1,600 Australian, which puts it a little bit more than the PSE top of the line bows. It's probably going to put it under your Hoyts. It's going to probably, I'm thinking about some other brands, Matthews tends to be expensive, so I'm going to say it's cheaper than Matthews. It's kind of up there in the price point, but it's not the most expensive bow out there. They tend to be high quality, Elite, so I've had very little problems with Elite. Now, they have this little tag on here, which has the specs, and it has this thing here, liability, so if you hurt yourself, it's not their fault. But if you are out hunting and your bow breaks for any reason, they will send you a new bow with sights, with arrow rest. I think that's a stupid policy. And you're going to say, why do you think that's stupid? Because I just don't think they'll do it. And it could be because I'm in Australia. It could be because of COVID. But I just don't think there's anyone in Elite who's going to go, I'm going to fit an arrow rest, a sight to a bow and ship it to Australia while you're on a hunt. And how do you get it there? And when you're in the outback, how are you going to get a bow there from? It's just, I don't know. I don't know why you make these, why you put this in there, and maybe they've done it for you. I had the one warranty, and I go warranty, this year, and I did a review on it where the person somehow damaged his cam, and Elite did send me replacement cams for the bow. It took 7 to 8 weeks, and the person put in a claim with the credit card company, say the bow was faulty, and the credit card company, I didn't get the letter, and the credit card company refunded him for the bow, and he's got the bow, so he didn't pay for the bow. Some people are crooks, I suppose. But anyway, what I like about this, 2-piece quiver goes on there. Elite have got nice accessories. They've generally quite expensive, they're quivers, but they are a nice quality product. So they're not aimed at the bottom line market, they're aimed at the top shooter. Now when I looked at this bow, I was like, well, how does this vary compared to the Cure? The Cure is a 32-inch bow. I think it's a 6.5-inch brace height. This is a 33-inch bow with a 6-inch brace height. So this is 340 feet per second. So a little bit faster. Then the other bow Elite brought out this year is 34 inches. And I'm like, so you've got a 32, 33 and 34-inch bow. I don't know why you just didn't call it Cure 32, Cure 33 and Cure 34. Just my opinion. Because it starts getting, it's confusing for me already. I can't, this is called the Encore. You've got the Cure, I think you've got the other one, the Invoke, which is the 34. So the problem I get is I get confused with all the names, where if you just made it 32, 33, 34, 35, it would make my life easy. Now I would, maybe it's harder for me because I've got all these different bow companies and so many bows to remember all the stats. But I think for a user, for a consumer, it gets confusing. Now this is the same sort of price as the Cure and all the rest of them. So I think it would just make sense to go, well, this one's a little bit quicker than the 32. The 32 might be a little bit more forgiving. I would prefer a 35 for 3D, so I'm not sure why they've gone 34. But anyway, this was the bow that sold out of all the ones that came in. And I was surprised that I sold, this is the last one. There's a lower cable guard here, lower stabilizer setting here. Now the bow's published at 4.55 pounds. Now I weighed it when I had the sight and the Whisker Biscuit on, and it weighed 5.22 pounds. The grip feels nice. It feels like an Elite grip. You can see it's well balanced, and I'm moving this thing around. It's not, you can see my hands fully open. It's really well balanced. So the last review I did was on an OK bow, and that bow just floated around in my hand everywhere. This grip kind of starts off wide and narrows. It's nicely rounded there. Feels really comfortable. I really like the Elite grips. Now this bow's at 63 pounds. I normally test at 60. It should be set at 29 inches. I test with a gold tip Velocity 400, which weighs 327. 340 should be shooting at about 310, but this is faster. Let's see if I can draw 63 without ripping my shoulder out, because I don't know. Okay, it's starting to really build up here. Right now it's dropping off. Oh, there. It's quite a drop off. I'm going to shoot this shot. Oh wow. 304. So when I get over that valley, it kind of drops off because I'm assuming it's got a high let off. I'm assuming it's like 90-85% let off when I get it back there. But you can see when I shot that arrow, the bow didn't physically, that was the first shot I've ever made with this bow, by the way. The bow physically did not move. It was silent. Now, for me, I would probably move these draw stops forward because the valley's too long, in my view. I'd probably put the limb stops on to create more of that, to create more of a shorter valley. But if you're hunting in a tree stand, you'd probably like this. And if you're a hunter, you might like that draw stop straight at the way it draws straight up. Because when you're back there, now for 63 I drew that pretty easy, I think. Definitely didn't pull a shoulder or anything, so it's heavy there. It kind of lumps over at the end, but it holds very steady. Wow, look at that. The bow, like, I'm not gripping the grip. You can see my hand's completely loose. It's dead. That was 303. Now I'm not getting the speeds out of this that I would expect out of 63. I'm going to say the draw doesn't feel like a 340 feet per second bow. It feels easy. Now that's not to say I don't like it, I do. I like the Cure. The Cure remained one of my favourite bows for 2020. We're just going to shoot this is my target arrow. These are the VAPs with 140 grain points. They're a 350 spined arrow. Should probably drop the speed by about 30, I'm guessing. .281. Now it's a 350 spine arrow, 29 inches with a 140 grain point. 281. So draw cycle's easy, no vibration in the shot. Bow just sits there, it's quiet. Bow's solid. So at this stage, my only downside, the only thing I don't like about this bow is the adjustability. I'd like more adjustability in the weight. But besides that, I think the bow's just bulletproof. I think it looks nice. The strings are all served in the middle here. The strings look like pretty good quality. It's interesting, you got a bit of a fuzz there on the string, see that? Now I'm going to tell you what I think that is. I'm going to think that when they hit the cigarette lighter there to round off the ends, I'm figuring it got a bit of heat there on the string. But I really like this bow. It's a very, very nice bow. Now my problem with this is if I'm looking at buying a bow, do I buy a 32, 33, 34? Now I'd probably like to buy 35, but they don't make it. They make the Result now in a 36, and that's going to be in a whole different review. But I would have preferred a 35, so I would have preferred, I like the 32, but I would have preferred the 35 for 3D. But this feels solid, feels easy. The draw length, I'm trying to work out why they've gone for 33 as opposed to 32. The draw length is adjustable from 23 to 30. But it feels nice. Let's go and shoot 18 meters and see how well I shoot with it. I'm back here at 18 meters. So fairly warm day today. There's a little bit of wind. I did hit the gold with my sight settings, so we'll see how this groups. Now I generally shoot better with a bow with greater brace height, so 6.5, 7 inch brace height, because I get less wobble. Now what I notice in the practice is when I draw back, I get a bit of that in the draw cycle because it drops off over the valley, but then it's pretty dead still in the center. So it'll be interesting to see how I group. It'll be interesting to see if it's better than the Cure or not. Then I'll be interested in the 34, because I think the 34's got a bigger brace height. So I did a review on the top of the range Hoyt bow with a machine riser like this, like the Encore. Similar sort of price point. I'm going to say I would buy the Elite over the Hoyt, and it might be because I'm an Elite dealer or whatever, or I make more money on the Elite, right? Which I do. I make more money on the Elite than the Hoyt. But what I like about the Elite, I like the ability you can adjust the feel of the bow, the let off, and using the cable stops and the limb stops. I think that's just such a unique feature that to me that's a good thing. Like I wouldn't shoot this bow the way it's currently set up. I like the pivoting limb thing, that's a bit of tech for me. I like these roller slides. I like the grip, and I like how dependable Elite is. Like on all the years I've been selling Elite, I think that guy with the cams, that's been the only problem I've had. I'm pretty sure. It's the only one I can think of. So I was sitting out here the other day practicing because we're in lockdown. So our state, the state I live in, is South Australia. we went into lockdown the other day, so you're not allowed to leave your house, which is a whole nother story, which is quite funny actually, quite amusing. And I'm sitting here practicing because I want to get better, and I shot a perfect 300 indoor, outdoors. So shooting outdoors, I shot a perfect 300, which is my first in about a year. Now this to me is aiming quite easily in the center, it's not moving at all. But when I aimed, the pin did not move out of the 10. It just sat there in the middle of the 10. I thought, well, this is easy, I could shoot a back-to-back 300, first ever. I've only probably shot 3 300s in my life, that was probably the 4th. And I was like, this is easy. And I was like, do you know what makes this easy? The big brace height. Anyway, the wind came up. Which is why I'm bringing this up in the middle of the review. The wind came up for a bit, shot a 9. Like, damn. So that little bit of movement, just moves your pin, moves your aim, moves your hand, and it throws your shot. So like there's a little bit of wind here today. So when I do these reviews, it's sometimes I do really good groups and sometimes not so good groups. And there is a bit of wind here, but it feels pretty good. Now the 29-inch draw length on this bow, it feels spot on 29. The grip, I think this grip is one of the best in the industry. I really do. So now I'm going to compare it to the other bows in the industry that I've shot. Now I do like the Next from PSE, the Next 33. I think that and this bow are I like them for different reasons, if not for the same reason. I like the PSE because it's a bit cheaper. It's got adjustable modules, you can change the draw length, you can change the let off. I like that feature. Now one of the things with this bow, I believe now Elite has introduced different modules you can fit to change the feel of the bow. Like, you know, they've got a high velocity module and a easy comfort module. I think they've got 3, so check that out. I'm pretty sure I'm right with that. Now if Elite do have that, and I just didn't dream it one night while I'm sleeping, which is possible because I dream archery while I'm sleeping. I'm sure I saw it on their webpage. That's a big plus for Elite because people like to change the way their bow shoots, the feel, the speed. I mean, I've got a guy up in Queensland. His name's Jason. He's got a bow. He owns a bow. He's like, I'd like to fit new cams to it, new strings. Can you have a look up this video, Stephen, and see what it'll cost me to change? For him to make that change is probably going to cost $400 to $500. Where you fit new modules to the bow, you might be looking at, let's say, $100 for the modules. I don't know how much the modules are, just guessing that. But you might be looking at $100 for the module. You're changing the whole feel of the bow, but you're still keeping the things in the bow you like. Like, I like this grip, I like this riser, I like the finish. So you don't have to go and buy a whole new bow to change the feel of the bow to see if you would like a faster bow. Okay, so one of the things I would like Elite to change, I'm not sure why they did it. See here, where this string comes into there, I'm going to try and zoom up. See how close this is? It's pretty much touching. I would like there to be a big gap between those two spots. I'm not sure why they've done it so close. I'm going to say probably some people would like timing marks on the cams, and you can say, well, there's a timing mark, Stephen, look, it's touching the front there and it's miles way down the bottom. which this bow may not be timed out of the factory, but it feels nice. I cannot feel anything in the draw cycle which suggests it's not timed, but looking that this cam here is almost touching the dot, and down the bottom it's miles from the dot, would suggest that this cam is forward and this cam's behind. That's what it tends to suggest. So it means I've got to twist up one of the cables. So I was shooting the state championships last weekend. It was a very hot day. Very, very hot day, and I had heat stroke. And I was leading. When you start, I was leading. I was leading the comp. I'm shooting with this guy who's just nailing it. He's shooting his personal best, which is great for him. And I got a heat stroke, and I'm like shaking, right? I'm like, I shoot a pretty average end. I can't keep my arrows on the arrow rest. I'm like, whoa, and I'm shaking. With this bow, with the huge let off, you're not going to get the fatigue with your muscles at the back end of the, if you've been shooting all day in the heat, you're not going to get that fatigue and get that wobble happening. So when you always think about going to low let off and making it faster, creating more back tension, which is good when you're fresh, but when you're fatigued, high let off is fantastic. Really like the way the bow feels. I like the way it shoots. Now, one of my friends in America, Chris, was talking to me last night. He shoots a fast bow. He works for Martin, shoots an Obsession. And he was saying how fast his bow shoots. It shoots like a rocket, he said. He said it's faster than the PSE Expedite, which would make it pretty much the fastest bow on the market. Short brace height, and he said at 60 meters he nailed this deer in the exact spot. You know, he said dropped within two meters. He showed me the broadhead he used. And I generally find I shoot fine with fast bows, like the full throttle. But I find it easy to shoot a bow that's easy to draw like this with bigger let-offs and bigger brace heights. I just find them easier, and most people do, and that's why they're more popular, and that's why the fast bows have really taken a huge hit. I think is Elite who has the shootability challenge, where you go and, you know, try the bow and see if you can find a bow that's better than it. I think that's what, for me, customers come in the shop, they generally want bows that are easy to shoot, where they're going to have success. I feel like I'm raising the shoulder. Let's go down there and have a look, because I'm feeling tired already. Well, I'm up here at the target. I don't know how many arrows I fired. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11? About 11 arrows. So there's an 8 down low, so I don't know which shot that was. All the shots felt pretty good, actually. So I shot 2 9s next to each other. They felt good. But every single other shot is in the middle, and there's a lot of X's in there. There's a lot of arrows that are dead in the middle, which could be pure luck and get my sight seeing. But the grouping, like the middle ones are grouping tight. So I've only got 3 out of 11 outside. That's with a basic D-loop, whisker biscuit, and basic sight where the level's not even straight. Very easy to shoot for a 6-inch brace height. I enjoy shooting the Elite Encore. Now you're going to say this is better than I shot with the PSE Citation, which is a $2,300 target bow. I'm going to give you a reason why I think that is too. When I shoot this bow, it just sits there. The balance is perfect. Like, it's just sitting there straight up and down. Look, it just returns to that natural position. And it doesn't matter what I do. And when I take the shot, the bow just sits there. So when you've got a bow that's not balanced, it's more likely to kick around when you shoot, and you're more likely to get variance, in my opinion. That's a pretty good group. Kind of interested to see how I'll shoot with 34. And I am going to try some of these bows with a target set up to see how well I shoot, because when I shoot groups like that, sometimes when I do the review, I think, geez, that's better than I shoot my target group. I do like these rollers, and I know I've said it before, but I do like them, and I'd like a target bow with them. But overall, I think it's a good bow. I think Elite make a quality product. I don't think they stress their limbs very much, so I think their limbs are pretty bulletproof. Shipping times from Elite are questionable at best. I mean, I remember I went to Vegas and I met, is he the owner or the general manager of the plant? How to make friends and influence people. I go up to him and going, look, your products are fine, it's just you don't ship. And I'm like, you have all these products here on display, I have nothing in my store. And I've got it all on order. And he just looks at me with this blank look on his face. I said, go and have a look at my orders, how long they've been on order for, and you haven't shipped to me. I said, it's just not good enough. It's not good enough that you've got product here that you're displaying in a show and it's not in the shops to sell. So, saying that, 2020 was a hard year for the manufacturers. If Elite can improve its delivery of products, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's like 2 weeks you can see a product out of there. The shipping costs are not great from Elite to Australia. I don't know how it is with inside America, but I'm guessing what I'm saying is similar for most dealers in America. That sometimes I'll order Elite and within 7 days, within 2 weeks it's there, and then it might be 2 months or 3 months and you don't see it. It's just so inconsistent that you're like, oh, because the customer goes, I want to order a green one of these, how long is it going to take? And you're like, oh God, I don't want to give you a time, because, which is basically what I say now, because if you say, well, normally it's about 6 weeks, and then it's 8 weeks, they're like, well, you told me 6. It's like, oh, I just guessed. And then the customer gets angry. So you don't want customers to get angry. So if Elite could improve their delivery times on their products, I think it's good. I'm pretty happy with the pricing. I think it's about where it needs to be. I'm very happy with the quality of the product. I would like more adjustability in the limb pockets. I would like a lighter bow. I think the Ember is an awesome product from Elite. Sold really, really well for ladies, nice and light, lots of adjustability. But I think, I mean, for me in my shop, Elite is not a major brand, but it is a major brand, if you know what I mean. They concentrate on a high-end product, and at the high end, I mean, the majority of your sales are low end, you know, beginners getting into the sport. Elite doesn't operate in that division. So they operate in the high-end product. In the high-end product, I do okay in Elite. But they don't have the low-end product, so it's not that bow company I'm going to sell 2,000 in a year. But saying that, I don't have any problems. The quality is always good. I did have one the other day where the poundage on the limb, so this one here's marked 70. It had a 70-pound sticker on it, but it was a 50-pound bow, and the customer ordered 50 pounds, got the bow, and it had 70-pound sticker on it. The bow was 50 pounds, right? So he sends the bow back once he sees the sticker on the limb without drawing it back, and then we put a D-loop on, we draw it back on the bow scale, and it's 50 pounds, and we say, look, it's just the wrong sticker on the limb. Like, those things happen, but overall, it's a pretty bulletproof company. The accessories are really good. They use the QAD rest with the Elite sticker on the side. They've got, their quivers are very nice. They have a very well polished hunting bow, and I think their target stuffs are really coming on. definitely one of my favorite bows on the marketplace today. So if I was going to say, look, which bows do I prefer? This is definitely one of the bows I prefer in the marketplace. I like the fact that it's got a bush in here, and a bush in here so you don't rip out the riser. Just very nice overall. So I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies. Check out the Elite Encore, check out the Cure, and I'm pretty sure it's called the Invoke, which is the 34-inch version at your local archery shop. See what you think and see how it compares to the other bows at similar price point, and see if you prefer this to the other ones. I definitely like the grip better. Thanks for watching. Bye.